How many of you are actually eating while you're eating? You're on the phone, you're watching a movie, you're typing something. You're not eating. You're not giving your body, your mind, that prana that food is giving you. Correct? So you take all of these things into consideration. Then you can eat whatever you want and you will be fine. Radha says that can we segregate the raw foods into Sathvik, Tamsik or Rajasik, or do raw foods fall into Sathvik? Not necessarily. A raw onion might not fall into a Sathvik food, right? Raw depends on how raw, whether that raw is good for you, not good for you. For example, generally orange juice is extremely good to have in the morning, freshly squeezed orange juice. But I know a lot of people, because of their Pitta Dosha, the orange does not suit them at all. So not all raw foods will fall into Sathvik. Okay, Sarita Patnaik asks how to control the desire to eat more. Many of us fail to control desire to have tea, coffee, oily food and non-vegetarian and chaat items. I believe that it's important to do it slowly, step by step, in balance. So the first thing is that, like, I personally love to have pani puri. I personally love to have bhajia. But I have never pakoda. So I have never kind of stopped myself. So I have realized that it's okay to indulge, because slowly you kind of lose the taste of it. Suppose you like rasgulla. I will give you 30 rasgullas. Will you enjoy it? You will like the rasgulla when you eat 1 or 2 at the most. So that is what the whole idea of moderation is, and that is why important practices like our slide right now is how to cook, how to procure materials, why yoga and meditation is important, how pranayam will help you. So you have to take support of these techniques and then slowly start discontinuing the items. And I think one more thing that I remember in one of my lectures, my teachers had told me is that don't attach the consequence of what you're eating while you're eating with the brain. So you'll have 2 samosa and say, hey Bhagwan, aaj to, but don't say that. Just have the samosa and enjoy it. When you do that, there is no pressure. There is no cortisol that is being released in your system where there's stress happening. Just go with the flow. A person who even eats non-vegetarian food but remains disattached is a Sathvik person. So that's a different paradigm. That's a different connection altogether. Because our Sanatana Sanskriti will not discuss something in just that slot. It kind of connects everything 360 degrees. And that everything is connected to each other. So it's more intricate as you go into it. But talking about food, do it slowly but surely. Okay. Next we have Dr. Rama. We know particular foods are toxic to the body, but still taste buds desire it. And we end up eating. How to take control of appetite? I think Dr. Ramya, I have answered that it is a lot of self-discipline. It is about letting go of things, getting more. And I know this for sure that if you get into Sathvik food, the first month is a little difficult. And even in that, the first day is very difficult. First week is difficult, and then it starts to ease out. And then when you start getting used to the Sathvik food, you will not have any Rajasik or Tamsik food. But you have to give yourself that month. And I don't think you should do it drastically. I think you should take a whole year and then slowly start cutting out things. Right? So that is because the world is Kalki, we have a Kali Yuga right now. So the Kali Yuga, what happens is everything that gives us instant gratification will work. But if you want to do something different, you have to swim against the flow. You have to go to the other side and fight it. Anil Kumarji says, would not the effort of categorizing food on a daily basis lead to stress? Yes, Anil Kumarji. So that's what is called attachment. I was speaking about it. So you have to live a life wanting to live that life without saying, okay, if I do this, my heart attack is going to go away or my blood sugar is. You want to live the life because you want your thoughts to be more Rajasik or Sathvik from Tamsik. When that happens, you attract that energy and things become easy for you. But it takes 5 to 6 months, sometimes a year. For many people, it's a lifetime. And in the Bhagavad Gita and even Charak Samhita, Ayurveda itself talks about Ritucharya. It makes it very simple. It says eat what is available in that season. Simple, right? So whatever is available. So right now you have winter, so a lot of green vegetables are available, a lot of fruits are available. So please eat, right? Because at this time during Uttarayana, what happens? Your body has to collect a lot of energy because you have lost it during Dakshinayana. So everything is connected. Correct? So don't have any stress. Just eat what is available in that season. Go back to what your mother was making, grandmother was making, what is prevalent in your family. We have a lot of people say, "Oh, मेरे यहाँ पे तो उड़द की दाल का बड़ा ऐसा बनता है." Somebody say, "मेरे यहाँ पे पूरन पोली अलग बनता है." But ultimately, the ingredients are the same. But the way every family makes it is different. So stick to your own family. Stick to the recipes that your grandmother and your uncles and aunts have been having, and you will be fine. So there's no stress. Okay, next. Raghava sir, we see around us examples of people who are excellent human beings with the best of character and behavior, but having all sort of so-called not desirable habits of eating, etc. But having all sorts of so-called not desirable, how it's just their own, Raghava sir, it's their own discipline. They know their path. I know a lot of, Parsis eat a lot of non-vegetarian food and they drink alcohol all the time. But one of my biggest mentors has been a Parsi gentleman, because they don't attach themselves to that practice. They don't attach themselves to what they're eating, what they're drinking. They have it because it's the part of their societal norm, but they've transcended about what eating and drinking and gone to habits, gone to conversations, gone to intellectualizing everything and understanding it in their own way. Right? So then in that stage, it doesn't matter. So that way you will say, suppose we talk about tantrics, or we talk about aghoris. They eat meat from the smashan, but they are completely sattvic in their nature. Why? It's because they have detachment. Detachment is your Ramban ilaj for everything. Even getting detached from knowledge is a higher form of detachment. So you just flow like the water, like the river. You flow and you just kind of absorb all the beautiful views, the experiences, the foods that you have around you, and you flow. That kind of makes you go to a different level. And I think it's beautiful. I mean, I have only learned this by great teachers, and I'm just passing it on to you. I try to inculcate a lot of these practices in my day-to-day life. Many I fail, many I succeed, and I can see the difference, One thing that has helped me, and I'm sure will help you, is that if you're really so interested in your day-to-day life, start writing down who you are, what you like, what you ate today, what time you woke up, what were your activities, how did you feel. And once you start journaling, see that journal after a year and you will know the change that has happened in you. Kaun karta hai? Nobody does it. We love to listen to it. But I, in my 12 years, have found people on the count of my fingertips who are in that path, right? So if you do it, the abundance is all yours. Okay, we go on to the next question. Again, Anil Kumarji is asking, more than type of foods, the emotions are generated during. Yes, absolutely yes, I agree with you. आप दारू पियो, आपके साथ क्या होता है पार्टी में? आप ड्रग्स करो, क्या होगा? अब बहुत सारा नॉन वेजिटेरियन फूड खाओगे तो क्या होगा? So when you eat, you come to know. But you eat a nice nariyal pani, what will happen, right? So observe. And how many of you are actually eating while you're eating? You're on the phone, you're watching a movie, you're typing something. You're not eating. You're not giving your body, your mind, that prana that food is giving you. Correct? So you take all of these things into consideration. Then you can eat whatever you want and you will be fine. You look at those roadside contractors and those laborers. Do you think they follow Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the Guna, Triguna? They will buy what is available in that season. They will eat for that day. And if you do a census survey, read about it, they are the least number of people who are affected by any lifestyle disease. Why? How many athletes do you know? How many gymnasts do you know? How many yogis do you know who have to go to the hospital with cancer and heart attacks? So the answers is there. How many children do you know? Unless they are genetically born and they are born in poverty, generally, how many children do we get admitted in our hospitals? Because children will work, they will move, they will digest. So eating is important. More important is digesting it. So if you're doing all of these things, then you're on the right path. Janu. Okay, I am habituated non-vegetarian food since I'm 2 years old. How to avoid that kind of food? To follow Sathvic food. Please suggest any practical solutions, ma'am. Okay, now listen. You're already in the right path. The first thing is that you have desire to move into vegetarian food, then you will find the path. So the ideal way to do is that you plan your food. You plan your food. You plan, say that, okay, I am addicted to it. I'm having 3 meals. Let me start with just 1 meal of non-vegetarian food. Then move on. Say once a week I'll have. Then once a month I'll have. And when you have, don't have any angst. Do not have any, issue, I had extra. Don't worry about it. Allow the body and the mind to get out of that habit. It's not only for food, it's for everything. But talking typically about non-vegetarian food, this is what I would suggest. And I understand that in many cultures, I had a friend who, when I was in the Himalayas, I did a course, and she was from Italy. And in there, and she was one of those farm sides of, like Gaon of Italy. And when she had a cow, and she loved that cow, Penny was the cow's name, I remember, because that her transformation led, and then that's why I'm just sharing her story with you. And she said that in our house we have no vegetation, so in those areas, so for them primarily the staple is to kill, right? So they had a cow farm and they had a pig farm, and then that's what they would kill. Now Penny and this girl Natasha, her name, they got very, very attached when she was like 2 or 3 years old. By the time she was 5, her grandfather knew that Natasha was very attached to this cow and took her away for a shopping trip, and her father killed Penny. When Natasha came back as usual to meet Penny and didn't discover it, and saw, she was 6 years old and she left eating non-vegetarian food. So for her, that worked. And it was a big thing in her village because people were like, how can you do this? We have to eat non-vegetarian food. But she fought it ever since she was a child. But that was her path. It was her prarabdha, her karma. You have to create yours. Okay? And even if you're eating it, don't feel, because I'll tell you one thing. What you eat, the emotion with which you eat, that emotion will gain supremacy in your body. So don't eat with disgust. Don't eat in anger. Don't eat when you're depressed. And now when you think about it, oh my God, all of us are doing it. Complaining all the time. There's no salt, there's water. Be grateful. The minute you start becoming grateful for the food that is in your plate, you will see that abundance will start coming in. Everything will start to taste fantastic. Okay? And I'm telling you this because it is true. It has happened. I have seen a lot of people. I've seen the change in my own family, in my own children. It will happen for you. But you need to be sure. Don't be like dilly-dallying, or today the lecture, I'm very inspired. Tomorrow you are going to a restaurant and just ordering the most non-Sathvic food out there. Don't be. That's called smashana vairagya. When we take our loved, beloved ones to the funeral grounds and then you cremate them, and when you're there and you're looking at that Agni and then you're saying, what is use of this life? Everything is kinchit matra, it's going to go away. You cross the road and you are swearing on your phone. That's smashana vairagya. So not only that, you make a prana, like a promise. How do you do a prana? How do you do a sankalpa? One thing that's helped me, I can tell you, you take some water in your right hand, go near the sun, near the fire, near your God, your temple, your guru, whoever, and make a wish that I would want to change my life. I want to change the way I'm eating my food. I want to change. I want to transcend to a higher level of thought and intelligence. I take this water as my sakshi, and I promise whatever you want, that I will eat non-vegetarian once a month, or I will completely live on vegetarian, or I will not eat Tamsik food, or I will not complain, whatever your sankalpa is. And then make water that witness them. Drink that water. It helps a lot for sankalpa. तुमको कोई नहीं चाहिए. You don't need a dietitian. You don't need to go to a fancy hospital and tell some guy who will give you a diet. You know everything. Now, when you think about what I am talking, what is it in this that you do not know? Tell me. The question is putting into practice. That's where the main problem is. So I think, Janu, that answer. I cook Sathvic ahar, but I have hunger issues. Pitta aggravation. Yes, you cook the Sathvic ahar thinking that it is going to solve you with all your problems. You cook the Sathvic ahar and take it as a prasad. You do your prayer, whatever religion you are. You can say grace. You can say Brahmarpanam, Brahmavir, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karmas. Everything is Brahma. Everything is this vast, expansive universe of the Brahman. Okay? So your Sathvic ahar, then you have to also practically see how many times of the day you're eating. If you have Pitta, you need to eat more often. So divide your portion. I always tell this to everybody. Please do not become your own doctor. Talk to a qualified doctor. Go, if you feel that Ayurveda is not for you, try naturopathy. If naturopathy is not for you, go to allopathy. But understand whether आप कह रहे हो कि सात्विक आहार, but what if it's not sattvic, or if it's not made the sattvic, or there's so much discipline in it that you become rigid about it, you got attached to it. तो flow में जाना है. अगर flow में सब कुछ हो रहा है, fantastic. So when I have to do a Vishwa talks, I was not supposed to be in town, today, and we had some miscommunication. But I made a call and adjusted it. So it's a flow. There is no pressure. I'm not going to get angry. Oh, this was miscommunicated. My team miscommunicated. No, you go with the flow and come up with a solution. And that applies to everything. To your food, what you're wearing, how you're reacting in your home, your family. I know a lot of people who say, oh, my grandchildren are terrible. They don't come. My daughter-in-law is the one. Doesn't let them come to me. You already have a predisposed notion about everything. But suppose this is the truth. Suppose it's the truth. Accept it. Accepting will solve 90% of your problems. Correct? So that is what the relationship between emotions, what you say, how you react, what you eat is all connected. Alright. Does the color of the food have any relationship to gunas? Not necessarily, and necessarily also. Because when you go to a higher level now, everything is energy, vibration. Why I feel nice looking at you, or when I walk into a home, why do I like it? When I meet somebody, I dislike it. Some colors that I wear or eat please me, some don't. But generally they say that fresh vegetables and fruits come in different colors. They're all sattvic, right? So we go by the natural way of it. There is no certain such barrier. Sattvic food depends a lot on the ingredients you're using and also the way you're cooking it.